Okay, so I'm back. Hopefully you're back too. Hopefully you didn't go anywhere. You just clicked the next video. What we're going to do is we're going to move on now to two-point perspective. Okay. Now, two-point perspective, you still have the basic concept of the horizon line, and this is one of the reasons why it's very important to learn the horizon line. Okay. If you can get that basic concept down, it's gonna help you with a lot of your drawing. Okay, and I'm gonna do the horizon line. There's a horizon line, and here's your 2 points. And when somebody talks about 1 point perspective and 2 point perspective, what we're doing is we're creating an illusion of 3 dimensions on a 2-dimensional page. Okay, so what we're doing here with 2 point perspective is we're going to again draw a cube, and forgive me because drawing through the camera is a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. So we'll start with our square, and we're going to turn this square into a cube. And you know what? I shouldn't have done it that way. My apologies. Sorry. Let me erase this. And I'm drawing a lot heavier than I normally do. I know I've said this plenty of times, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with this line, okay? And it's a 2 point perspective, and we're going to turn this into a cube, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to draw, these are our guidelines, okay? Now, don't feel frustrated, okay? I don't expect you to get this right away. Just kind of absorb what I'm saying, okay? And it's going to take a while, but eventually you'll get it. I'm sorry, it's so hard doing this through the camera. Once you master this, you'll see how easy it is and how much fun you can have doing this. It is going to take a while. Okay, now, you could see the shape that I drew, right? It's kind of a weird looking shape, but we're going to turn this into a cube. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a parallel line parallel to this one here, and I'm going to draw another parallel line parallel to this one here. Okay, as close to parallel as I can get looking through the camera. All right, so now I'm going to take this point here, right? And I'm going to have it meet with this point here. And we're going to go straight to the back like that. And then we're going to go from this point to this point, and we're going to go straight to the back again. Now, I would recommend doing this with a ruler. I'm kind of, with this freshman class, I'm kind of doing everything freehand, because to me it's more about having fun with it and getting the concepts down. If you can get the basic concepts of form and perspective down, we could just have fun with it. You know, don't worry about the other stuff. It'll come. You just gotta keep working on it, okay? But I do actually recommend a ruler for people. I'm going to focus on that in my later classes. But here, we just erase these guidelines here. And what we have is a cube. See how easy that was? And it was just basically understanding what 2-point perspective is. Now, why in the world are we drawing a cube in 2-point perspective? There's several reasons for that, why we would want to do something like that. And let's see, let's say you're trying to draw a room, okay? You're basically inside the cube, if that makes any sense. The room around you, if you look around you, it's basically a cube. Most of them are just square, and you're just inside of it. So when you're doing that, and again, this is hard going through the camera like this. When you're inside the cube, what you're going to have, like this will be the far corner of the wall. And we got this point and this point here. And what I'm going to do is draw from here. And I'm going to go beyond this line here. And then I'm going to go from here And again, I'm going from here, from here, from here. I'm talking like that because you should focus more on shape. Again, focus more on shape. That's going to help you immensely with your drawing, because if you're focusing on that you're drawing a wall or inside the house or anything like that, you're going to go, oh, you're going to get frustrated. So this is a way to practice and not worry about that, okay? And then I'm going to do this. Let me see if I'm doing this right. Hold on. And then I'm going to do this. Now you're probably sitting there looking at me going, what the heck is this guy doing? What I did was I drew, I'm going to erase this. I drew the far corner inside a room. Okay, and I'm going to show you by taking this out. We don't need this at all. We don't need this line anymore either. And again, when I do it a lot lighter than this. So when you're doing this, you should do it a lot lighter too. And then, because I'm drawing through the camera, it's hard for me to catch all this. So now what I have is a wall, two walls in the corner of the house. And remember when we were talking earlier about how everything is a basic shape? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw another little cube very lightly here. And I'm going to use my 1-point perspective to draw the cube. Everything's going to go back to that. And I'm going to, let me erase the corner of the room, because it does get a little confusing. And then here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit there and do this. And I'm going to sit here and do this. And then I'm going to erase this. And then I'm going to sit here and do this. And then I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And now I have a little sofa, and it's in the corner of the room. So now somebody can come in and sit down on the sofa there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my 2-point perspective again, and I'm going to draw another rectangle. And again, I'm not drawing the lines. You can always draw the lines in very lightly and then erase them later. But I'm just kind of eyeballing it, and I'm eyeballing it through the camera. But I want you to see that you can get it done without it being perfect, and it'll be serviceable, okay? The main goal behind this channel is to have fun, okay? And I'm going to make this rectangular, right? And there's my 1-point perspective, and there's my 1-point perspective, and there's my, 2-point perspective. I'm saying 1 point. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this here. And then I'm going to make sure all your lines go back to this point here. And I'm going to erase this in the back here. And you're probably wondering, what the heck is this guy doing? But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make it very basic. Draw a bunch of little squares here. Make them different sizes. But I'm basically following my 2-point perspective. But what I've got here is a bookcase, and it's sitting right next to, I can be more precise than this. It's just going to take a lot longer. What I'm trying to give you is a basic concept. And we've got our bookshelf. And it's from 2-point perspective. I'm not going to finish this. It's going to take quite a bit of time, but that's kind of how you do the bookcase. Now, I'm going to do an ellipse. Remember we were talking about ellipses? And I'm going to do a little cylinder here. And this is his reading table that's sitting right next to It's sitting right next to his thing. So this is where two-point perspective comes in handy. It helps us out drawing the inside of a room. And the concept can apply to anything. The outside of a house, buildings in New York City, all that good stuff. Let's say, now, when you're, one of the things that's different, and it's going to be really hard doing this through the camera, on this paper. But one of the things that they also have something called three-point perspective. And for those of you that have been in a city, a big city with buildings, when you're standing at the street level and you look up the building, what happens is it kind of goes like this. The building kind of starts looking like this, right? This is a point up here. It's past the page, actually. There's a point up here that all the lines are converging to. And then you'll see lines like this going back this way. And then lines like this going back this way. What am I doing here? Right? Here, let me erase that one. I didn't construct this very well. I'm just kind of playing around here. But you know, your buildings kind of go up like this, and then you have lines coming back this way. Well, this is what's known as three-point perspective. So when you go to a building and you stand at the bottom of the building and you look up, you'll see that lines go back this way and lines go back this way, and then lines kind of converge at the top there. And that's your third point. Your third point is not actually on the horizon line. It's somewhere off in space. So these are your basic concepts that you should follow for your perspective. I didn't want to spend the whole 2 segments on it, but perspective is very important. I'm going to come back to perspective again. We're going to have some fun with it in our later classes. We're going to twist and turn things around a little bit, and do some pretty cool things. But the key is this basic concept. Now, for the mini comic, again, this is a freshman class, so I'm kind of expecting all ages, young kids as well as older adults who've never drawn before. I'm kind of hoping some of you who do know something about art is kind of sticking around through the whole process here, because I kind of hope you have fun through this. It'll involve a little bit of arts and crafts, but that's our three-point perspective. And what I want to do, so you got 1 point, you got 2 point, and you got 3 point. And then what I want to get to is going back to creating our character. And I had taken some notes on this. And what I'm going to focus more on, I believe this time, is I'm going to keep taking notes and making notes, but I want to kind of focus more on the design of the character. I still have to come up with a name for the character, his superhero name and his normal name, which I haven't even thought about any of those yet. And a lot of this probably won't make it into the beginning of the comic book, but it's good to kind of know who the character is as you're doing the story. So we're going to work on very basic design. My next drawing lesson, I think I'm going to get into the figure. We'll focus on drawing the figure a little bit. I'll show you some tricks of the trade on that. And again, very basic stuff. You won't be Rembrandt after you're done, but you should have fun. It should be a fun thing to do. And what I'm going to do is, when I'm going to have these notes here by the side, but I'm going to focus on just kind of designing the character. Okay. I'm going to take the character that I'm going to take the character that I drew when I was like, I don't know, 12, 13. I don't remember how long ago it was, or even how old it was. I don't have any of those drawings left, but I kind of remember what the costume looked like. I'm going to converge them with some of the ideas that I came up with here. I'm going to take some of the, like that concept of Black Lightning, where he's holding his mask in the afro, and I'm going to mix it all in together. So join me in the next video as I get into focusing on creating the character, okay?